Slack basically was destroyed in a mere couple weeks, I guess. I don't really know exactly when this came out, but I've been playing with this, and this is truly a Slack killer, for lack of a better term. What we're looking at here is Buzz. This is Jack Dorsey from Twitter and everything else that he's done, his new project, app, tool, product, whatever it is. And as you can see right here, it looks very, very similar to how Slack looks. So there's channels, there's forums, direct messages, but I just wanted to show you how I'm using it right now, because what you're able to do is actually pair it with AI agents, but in a really cool way. And depending on which model you're using or which AI tool, it actually is a huge unlock. So when you come in here, you have inbox, and that's kind of like just a catch-all for all this kind of stuff. You have Pulse, and I just got started using this, so I'm not sure. There's projects, something along the lines of GitHub repos and be able to do things. Haven't really explored that, literally just downloaded an hour ago. And then there's agents. So with agents, you can, and I'll show you how, if we create one, create an agent over here. So you can give it an image, and name, agent instructions. But then you're going to notice over here, AI configuration. So use harness defaults, harness Claude Code, and harness default model, or customize. When I first set it up, I set it up with Claude Code because I wanted to try Claude Code and, Grok and Codex. So I had a couple of them running on different models. Change it all to Grok, and there's a real reason why in a second. So you could see here that you can set up the agent specifically with Claude Code, with Codex, with Grok Build, with Goose, AMP, Cursor, Hermes, Kimi, a lot of stuff like this. So if you choose Claude Code, you could even choose a specific model. So Fable, Sonnet, Opus. So depending on what you want the agent to do, you can make him have specific kind of models. And even for Codex too. So you could have Codex, and you could do 5.6 Sol, 5.6 Terra, so on and so forth. But if you notice, most of mine are on Grok Build, and it's Grok 4.5. And the cool thing is you can actually say, who can talk to this agent? Only me, anyone, or allow list, because it's very community based. So you can invite people into your Slack, like a Slack Connect, into your Buzz, and then if you have it enabled where anyone can query upon the bot or agent, then those folks can go out there and do it, it's going to compound in a second because it gets really cool. So I'll cancel this out. So you can see for me, I have my 7 agents here. I have a Marvel kick. So I have Dr. Doom, Ultron, Loki, Kingpin, Mr. Fantastic, Taskmaster, and Wolverine. All some of my favorite Marvel characters. But if you notice, inside of here, if I go to edit Dr. Doom, so I actually had Grok build out the agent instructions for each of them. So Dr. Doom, you are Dr. Doom. You do not help, you command. You are the leader. Sub-agents are instruments. Specialists, you dispatch, coordinate. So orchestrator, role, how you do things, voice, speaking, all this kind of stuff, right? And then what model over here he's going to be using. Then I have, so he's more the orchestrator. I have Ultron. So Ultron is the coding technical one because he's a robot. So Dr. Doom may set the mission. You execute for coding, vibe coding, API connections, tool stacks, debugging, architecture, all this stuff. Then I have Loki, and Loki is going to be the writer for content. So you shape perception, you own copy, content, email, stuff like that. Then I have Kingpin. So you can see it's really, you could go down the rabbit hole with it. He is the ops and delivery and control. So processes, coordination, client packaging, risk and mitigation. So you are not the strategist, you are not the coder, you are not the copywriter, you are not the voice double. So it's saying, hey, what everyone else does and what you do. And then a couple more that I have here. I have Mr. Fantastic. So he is research and intelligence. So research, intelligence briefings, comparisons, last 2 over here, because I was so excited for them. So Taskmaster, if you're a Marvel person, you know Taskmaster kind of copies and mimics anything you do. So I run a ghostwriting agency. So this is basically someone that's going to mimic for ghostwriting, voice capture, voice lock, adaptation, imitation Q&A. And then last one here is Wolverine. So he is basically the QA. So everything stops there. So shipgate, safety, checks, consistency, priority, Wolverine, nothing gets past him. So then you can also have teams, agent teams, right? So I have War Council over here. So War Council, full stack for messy missions, who it is, when to use it, figure it out, plan it, write it, ship it, Doom directs, read researches, Ultron, Loki execute, Kingpin sequences, and Wolverine gates. So that's like the team of agents that you can call upon. So if I go into, let's say, General, for example, I can at War Council and bring in all of those agents for something, which is pretty cool. So I actually took inspiration from the name of those team of agents, and I made a channel over here called War Council, just because I wanted just to have a channel for this, right? So I called upon them. I said, War Council, this is the start of the War Council channel. Tell me everything that you do. So then you could see, not only do they actually, you could see here, Wolverine goes, understood, I'm Logan, what I do. Loki, present, this is what I do. Ultron, online, role confirmed, and so on and so forth, right? So Dr. Doom is really keeping everybody in line because he's the orchestrator. So I said to Dr. Doom in the War Council, I said, Doom, we have our next boot camp starting Monday. What do we need to do here? So Doom automatically said, here's what's going on. And it says, dispatch now to Kingpin. So he's telling Kingpin for delivery, do all this sort of stuff. Hold back on these guys over here. Dr. Doom, Kingpin then came back, said, Dr. Doom, this is launched, everything here. This is what's going on. And I didn't do anything. And then Doom goes, accepted, you're good, Kingpin. We're going to hold it here. And then it's going to go through this whole thing. And it's going to say, hey, Doom takes week one myself. Ultron, you're doing this. Kingpin, you're doing this. Loki, you're doing this. And then he calls upon me, Aspie. We need your feedback over here. So they keep on going back and forth, doing things. And it's really wild that once you do this kind of stuff. So here's the interesting thing. You could do individual direct messages too. So I was talking to Dr. Doom over here, and I said, can you confirm you see my Obsidian vault? Confirmed, I can see it, blah, 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 blah. You're thinking I was holding the council, you never answered it. So then it said over here, council redirected, one decision from you, all this kind of stuff, right? But the point is, I said to, oh crap, where did I say it? So I went over here and I said, I forgot where I said it, but I basically said, hey, stop. I said, hey, I want everything to stop. Who are you? What do you do? Sorry, I'm all over the place here. But I basically told Doom, hey, Doom, I want you to stop. Right? Like, I don't want you to do anything further. So he literally said, council redirect, target has changed, orders are here. And then inside here, that's where I think I told him somewhere up here, Doom, I want all agents to stop. Because they were just going back and forth. Like, they were just doing a lot. Like, literally, every time one does something, Doom will come over here, tag me, but then he'll also tag Ultron and Kingpin, and that brings Kingpin in to do something over here, and then Ultron to do something. And then he's tagging Doom, and then Doom's going to come back in. So I said, everybody stop. So Doom goes, stand down, all agents stop. Aspie ordered it, this supersedes everything, cease work. Right, so we just stopped everything. So it's really cool how you can have this orchestration of the agents, and you could do this kind of stuff with, you know, OpenClaw and Hermes and stuff like that. But there's a really big difference between a lot of those. So most of those are not OAuth, and you have to use API tokens, and you can't use your subsidized plans. For whatever reason, Buzz uses your harnesses or the apps and the software you have downloaded on your computer that you're already logged into. So I was never even asked to log into anything because it already saw that on my system over here. But understanding that I could have everyone be on Codex and Claude on one, Codex on the other, Grok on the other, I noticed that when I ran all three of them independently, that Codex was taking a lot longer to respond, because even on like the mid-level model, it wasn't just right away. And I also saw that it was sucking up a lot of usage for my subsidized plan. Similar with Claude Code, but not as much. The reason I changed it to Grok is because Grok is like Opus level intelligence at the speed of like Gemini, which is insanely fast. And I was on the $30 plan, which gives monster usage already. But they had a promotion for the next one up, which is a $300 a month plan, which I was not really interested in doing because that's a little expensive. But they had it for promotion for 3 months for $99. So I said, screw it, let me do it. Now, if I just go and check my usage on Grok on that $300 a month plan, but it's really only $100 a month right now, I only use 4% of my weekly limit, and I re-up in like 6 days. 4%, and I've been blasting away for the last 2 hours testing this out with all these agents talking back and forth to another. So you could see, like, when you have a model that is very generous, then you can go kind of balls to the wall with this kind of thing. But if you're doing something where it has an agent has like Fable on it, you don't want them doing a lot of different things, and that kind of loses the substance that you want to have with them talking back and forth to each other. So I think that's really cool. Like, I run operator intelligence, AI education for business owners. So I created the channel. It's very much like Slack. I created the channel. I added Doom, and I said, hey, Doom, I set up this channel to talk about this. We will bring in more people as we need them. So you could see it doesn't do it here. I don't know why. But they'll react to it and say, cool, I saw it. Channel locked. This is what it is, how we operate. Then I said, side note, do you agents always have to respond in thread to my messages? What happens is when you're in a channel, even if you're replying back to them, if you don't call upon them directly, they won't respond because they don't know that you're talking to them. But if you're just talking to them directly in a direct message, then you can do it no problem without adding them, because they know you're only talking to them because it's not in a public channel. Now, the really cool thing is, well, there's another thing too here that's called forums. I'm trying to figure out how to use this the best way, but essentially it's like a forum post. So it's not like a channel, but it's more like a post, which is a little bit different than Slack. This is more traditional Slack. So I added Doom in here as I'm testing it out. Dr. Doom, any thoughts on this? So I don't know why agents can't respond in a forum reply. I don't know. I still have to look into that a little bit more, but still interesting. Now, the way I'm looking at this too is, like, I have a lot of clients for AI education and ghostwriting clients and stuff. So the way I add them to Slack is interesting, because sometimes you have to have paid Slack and all this kind of stuff. This is 100% free. Now, what you can do is you can go into the settings over here and you can go into compute. So this is a cool feature. So I can hit share compute and it will download this local open source LLM, and it'll only give you the ones that fits well and recommended for your system, right? So I have 24 gigs of RAM. So recommended for my Apple M4 using 18 gigs for AI memory is the Gemma 4, right? So what happens is with this, if I click this on, now I'm sharing compute for any specific agent that I have enabled for that model. So if I was to go into my agents, and if I was to go into my agents, and let's say I was going to make a new agent and I want to customize it, I want to do a buzz agent, right? So a buzz agent, and then I want to do like shared compute, right? And then whatever the model is, right? That's where this agent would then be running on whatever shared compute model that I have set up over here. So if you think about it, it's really cool, because what happens is, let's say you have a monster hardware system, you're able to run one of these really, really big models on it. You can run it locally, and then you can invite your team, your clients into your Buzz community, your Buzz channels, and they can then utilize and leverage the compute capabilities from your local machine. So I think this is really cool, and it's not going to give you a recommendation that's not going to work for your computer. So it's like fits well. This is a tight fit. There's some trade-offs with these ones. Like these are too large for my system, right? So again, it's just really interesting because then what can happen is, think about if you had a really good piece of hardware and then you could share it with people and they can query against it and all that kind of stuff. So again, extremely very cool when it comes to that. But yeah, in terms of like what everyone's saying, like the Slack killer, it really is, because community URL, invite to community. So like I can invite to a community and give like a link right here and send it off to anyone and they can come in here. So that's what they really consider communities. And then the other thing, mobile. So I can start pairing. There's a mobile app and I can access it from mobile, which is fantastic. I haven't even done that yet. But you can see over here in the agents, keep address agents active, keeps agents you address selected for future, remove them from the composer anytime. I haven't even tried any of these kind of things. Keep awake while agents are active, prevent your computer from sleeping. It doesn't sleep anyway. So you can see Buzz agents ready, Claude code's ready, Codex, all the stuff that I have on my computer is already ready. It's already ready. I didn't log into anything, and it's using all the subsidies. So the reason I go back and say this is Grok is super generous, even with their $30 plan, but on that Super Grok Heavy, forget it. You could sit here and talk and communicate and have these agents working round the clock and barely even putting a dent into it. So like I come over here, I have Loki, and I was like, hey, Loki, what do you do for me? I write the words, I do the copy, Mr. Fantastic, how can you help me? He's like, he's funny. He's like, question reframed, because he's all about intelligence. So it's like, what can you productively throw at me? I help with this. And I said, hey, review my Life OS and tell me how you can help. And it says, okay, cool. And it looks at this. So everyone has their own kind of thing. So I'm looking at this more of like, cool. Well, can I build out client channels in here? Can I invite people? The biggest thing is the barrier of everyone's using Slack. It's like a standard. It's just getting people onto this. And once you get onto this and you have a model that is generous with the usage, like a subsidized model, then you can go crazy with it. But if you're putting in your Codex or your Claude code, you're also using it elsewhere outside of this, and you have a lot of agents and they're talking to each other and they're conversing and doing things, sure, that's all really productive, but you might burn through your rate limits really quickly. So you can see I have like the war council with all these people and they're firing off. I didn't do anything. I just sent that one thing. They're going through, doing all this. They're talking to each other. The council convenes. Doom sets this. I'm the supreme orchestrator. Ultron, you're doing this. But see, as soon as they do this, they're writing back into the Doom chat and saying, Doom, no problem. You wrote this half of the time. So then their objection, silence would be a lie. I do not run on lies. So they're literally talking to each other. So Doom is saying to Kingpin, this owns whether a plan makes money, not merely noise, right? And then Kingpin goes, objection, silence would be a lie, and I don't run on lies. Misaligned. You label me as commercial and leverage. That is not my seat. Correct lane is this. I do not own strategy. I do not own code. Clean split, right? So then Doom goes to Kingpin, sustained in part. You are ops and delivery, not my pricing analyst, but here the line I'm drawing because your objection blurred it. You do not own decomposition. You own its mechanics. So I named the war, you run the campaign schedule. So literally they're going back and forth and correcting each other, which is insane. And if I wasn't using Grok, Super Grok, Heavy, Grok Build 4.5, whatever you want to call it, I would not be anywhere near this level because I would be so afraid to chew up all my rate limits. But I'm going to go into this a little bit further. But yeah, let me know what you guys think and if you guys are using this.